Hello and welcome everyone. So I'll be explaining Codeforces recent Div 3 round, problem A, restoring the permutation. So in this problem, let's say Polycarp is a guy who was presented with a permutation P. We know what is a permutation. If you don't know yet, you can check out the definition here. And so Polycarp was presented with a permutation P of numbers from 1 till n. But Polycarp noticed that that permutation actually turned into another array where actually it defines each and every element of the array as the maximum till that index. Okay, so if we are given a permutation, any kind of permutation, and then Polycarp would receive and see that his permutation is actually shuffled, and it shuffled into resulted as an array of something like this, where if I say this, if I denote this value as AI, then it would mean that this is the maximum out of these three. If its index is I, then I will get the maximum maximum value till I. So in a sense, you are actually given an ascending order array, and you know that each and every value and element represents that yes, it is the maximum from the starting till the ith index. Okay, so this property will help us. If you do a bit of analyze, you will understand that okay, this array that we are given, which is the maximum, each and every index is referring to the maximum from the starting till that value's position. It actually always represents an ascending order array. That's obvious because you are collecting the maximum. Now your task is to find out whether you can find out permutation, which is the original array, that was the original permutation. But one condition is you have to apply, which is you have to find out whether you can make lexicographically minimal and lexicographically maximal permutations. So what does that mean? If I say, let's take one example and understand. Let's take this example. Here Q that we're given up to 7 elements, when we know the value is 3, 3, 4. Let's denote here and demonstrate here. 3, 3, 4, 4, 7, 7. Okay, so let's say 3, 3, 4, 4, and 777. As I told you, this array will always be an ascending order array, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. And this property is definitely going to help us. So I know that okay, I have to figure out the permutation. First of all, I will try to think, okay, what is the length of the array? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so n is 7. Then I know that a permutation of length n, where each and every element is distinct, okay, and they're from 1 to n. So the permutation would have values from 1 to 7. All of them are distinct. Now if I could denote it something like that, okay, let's just denote it some 1, 2. This is our general permutation. Let's write it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And what I'm going to be doing, okay, I'll be trying to find out which are the values that are not here inside my given array here. So I will say that yes, I know that this is presented level 3, number 3 is presented, 4 is presented, 7 is presented, then which are the values are not presented? They are 1, 2, 5, and 6. So the problem boils down that you have to replace some of these values from the permutation with either with only 1 or 2, 1, 2, 5, and 6. And you have to arrange that permutation in a sense that that permutation, if you do the back operation, then it would definitely give our Q array, which is going to be given. And also you have to find out two forms of permutation, whether one is lexicographically minimum and other one is lexicographically maximum. Okay, so the problem boils down that you have to rearrange these numbers. So for this array, I have to rearrange 1, 2, 5, 6 in such a way that this permutation always have like two categories. I could make one lexicographically smaller and then the other one as larger lexicographically. Now, also one thing to notice here, which you will find out that I cannot change the values. Okay, if I could denote it. Okay, so the thing is that you might have noticed that I have written these numbers of their specific different colors because I have denoted them as a specific group. Now, you will always find that there will be some values of this specific group. So I will denote it. This is my, let's call this is my group 1, this is group 2, this is group 3. And if you could observe it, you will find that I cannot change each and every group's first value. If I change it and change it with the values that I didn't, the values that were not inside the Q array or our given array previously, then it wouldn't happen. So the main thing is if you change each and every group's first value, then you will definitely not get the permutation that you would expect to get. So the only thing that you have to the only places that are replaceable are the positions where any groups apart from the first member of that group. So if I say that yes, this is my red group or group 1, I know that the first value is 3. I cannot replace it. If I can replace it, then I can only replace at this position. Similarly, for this group, this is not acceptable. This is acceptable to replace. Similarly, for this group, I can arrange and replace these two positions. So my positions also boils down to some specific spaces. In here, the spaces are 2, index number 2, index number 3, 2, 4, 6, 7. So 2, 4, 6, 7 is the indexes that are left to replace, that I can replace. So I have to find out something and manipulate those numbers that are not inserted before to make the whole permutation lexicographically smaller, one part, and also another permutation that we have to build, which is going to be lexicographically larger. I hope you get that. Okay, now the question is, how are we going to do this? Let's go for, or let's move out for, let's go for the lexicographically smaller. How could we make? So we know that the only values that are replaceable, the indexes that are only replaceable are this. Now, in order to make lexicographically smaller, I know that the first value definitely has to be as smaller as possible, similarly as goes, which means this, like this journey here from 2 till 7 by joining 2, 4, and 6 and 7, if I could somehow replace the numbers in ascending fashion, then I know that definitely yes, there's a possibility, and this is actually the possibility that I can make this permutation overall lexicographically smaller in terms of the conditions that are given. So that yes, so to make it lexicographically minimum, what will I do? I will simply put the values as it was, because I will track another vector. Inside my vector, I will track the values in ascending fashion which are not inserted before, and then I'm just gonna be taking the values and insert these places. So 1 comes here, 1 comes in the number 2 positions, so that I can say 3, 1. So here this 3 is going to be replaced by 1. Similarly, this 4 is going to be replaced by 2, and 5 is going to be replaced by number 6th index, and similarly 6 is going to be replaced by number 7 in 7th index. Now, so finally the lexicographically minimum array boiled down to something like this: 3, 1, 4, 2, 7, 5, and 6. Now if you do the following operation, which is finding out the maximum in each index, you will see that it's the same as the previous one, which is fulfilling the condition. Also, it is the lexicographically minimum. What about lexicographically maximum? Yes, you have to do that. You have to find out that too. This is a bit of tricky part here. I will explain you how you will do this. Now, if you think that you will, okay, I think this is pretty easy, I will just do the similar way in a descending order fashion, then it's going to be the answer. No, it's not. It's not going to give the actual answer, because if you could convert that array to the initial array that we're given from the user, okay, then you will see that that both arrays are not similar and they are not equal. It doesn't meet the criteria. Let me explain you, or let me show you how it's not possible. If you earlier I told you that, okay, which are the values that are not accepted here. Okay, let's remove everything and start from fresh to find out what is the lexicographically maximum one. Okay, let's see. 3, 3, 4, 4, and 7 3 times. Okay, this was the array, and the values that were not inserted here was like 1, 2, 5, and 6. Okay, 1, 2, 5, and 6. Now, filling the gaps in a descending order fashion is not gonna give us the right result. Let me show you why and explain you why it's not gonna give. So if you do a similar fashion way, and if you insert 6 here, you will know that, okay, let's just draw it. Okay, if you insert 6 here and 5 here and 2 here and 1 here, what exactly happens is, if you try to build the initial array here that Polycarp was given, you will see that, okay, first is 3, okay, so far so good, but here you have to put it 6. Okay, you have to put it 6 here, and you have to put it 6 here too, and here too. Although it was 5, if you would have when you just inserted here, and this was 7, 7, 7, which is not the initial array. So it's not gonna work like that. Now, how it's gonna work? The way it's gonna work is you have to do certain operation, which is the lower bound operation here. What you're gonna be doing you're gonna be inserting each and every values that were not inserted inside that array into a set. How is this set gonna help us? Okay, let's review all the numbers here. We were given double 3. After that, what was that? Okay, double 4 and triple 7, 7, 7, and 7. Values which were not inserted was 1, 2, 5, and 6. Remember, I am inserting for now. I'm dealing the case for permutation of lexicographically maximum, which will also fulfill the condition of the initial input array too. Now, remember, for this case, I'm going to be inserting these values inside my set, so they're always going to be sorted. And what I'm going to be doing, I know that these are the positions that I'm going to be replacing with some of the values, so such that the permutation becomes lexicographically maximum. Now, I know, okay, this is my position. Now, what is right now? What value is right now inside this position? It's 3, right? What you will do is, if you take the lower bound operation for 3, what will it give inside the set? So we're trying to find out the lower bound of 3. Here, okay, lower bound of 3 looks like it's 5. Now, immediate previous index value of the lower bound of 3, this value is going to be inserted here. Why is that? It's obvious. Look, you have to find out the maximum, right? But you cannot go further than the value that was presented in that index. So what's the best option for you? The best option is to fill that gap with a number which is as close as possible but not greater than that value, of course. So for 3, I know that it's definitely going to be, so the operation would always go down to lower bound position minus 1. Exactly what you're going to be doing. So what you will do for 3, what is the lower bound position minus 1 in my set? It's that value is 2. Now you will insert that value here, and here comes 2, and then you will erase this value from the set. Okay, erasing operation that won't take much of time complexity. It will be in a constant time erasing this. So finding in login and then constant time, so it would erase this value here. Okay, so after erasing this value, that won't cause much of the complexity here. And after that, okay, now we're dealing with this position. Okay, so 4, what is the lower bound position of 4? Okay, 4, right? Okay, this is the 4's lower bound position. Okay, but I am only interested in the immediate previous index of that lower bound, which is this in case. Now insert 1 here. Yep, we've got it. And similarly for this 7, what is the lower bound position? It's greater than, okay, it is actually crossing the array. I know that I'm only interested in the previous index, which is this, and 6, insert here. Here comes 6, and the value which is only left is 5, insert here, it's 5. So finally the array does become 3, 2, 4, 3, 2, 4, 1, 7, 6, 5. Now for this array, if you do that previous operation, which is finding the maximum out of till that index, you will see that that array does actually become equilibrium or equal to the array that Polycarp got initially, which was shuffled, you know, changed that initial input array. So that's how you're going to be doing this problem. Let me take you to the code part. So this is the code portion. We're actually tracking, this map is tracking for which are the values that were not inserted in our given array. This is the set for finding out the permutation with maximum lexicographical order, this left vector is considering the minimum lexicographical order, similarly taking these values, initializing and then maintaining, checking out, inserting inside left, which are the values that are going to be necessary for us to make the most out of it, and then inserting in our set. And I know the first value will always be the same for minimum and maximum. Of course it is. Now here, a tricky part here, what I did was, that's for implementation details, I have reversed my vector. Why I did that was, I reversed my vector, let's say 1 2 3, and it was reversed to 3 2 1, so that I could check out that back element. It's actually doing the same thing. Okay, I'm just reversing and checking out from the back, which is doing here, which is actually going from ascending order and then popping out, so that I could drag down to my second second value after that, ascendingly. Okay, and this part that I told you, of course I told you for the maximum lexicographical order position value, and I'm only taking care of it when AI equal AI minus 1. You will notice that whenever this value, any value, and its previous value is the same, I know that I have to change this value. Okay, and I'm doing that in another additional array, such that the order doesn't change for our initial array A, and it won't cost us much. So that's how I'm going to be doing that. Now, after that, just printing out and then clearing out everything, just because there's a test case here, and then after that it's okay to accomplish that job, successfully accept that problem. I hope you get that, and till next time, goodbye.